Welcome to our first episode of Diamond Shine Soap Club. Guys, I'm going to give you the entire recipe for this. If you want the printed PDF version, you could go to my Patreon and you could join the soap club. We meet once a month and we make soap. We chit chat, we chill, we drink wine, we drink coffee, we talk about things, fragrances. Listen, we're going to be doing a whole lot. So if you want to join the soap club, again, click the link in the description box and it will take you to the Patreon. And there's so much on there. Candle making recipes, soap recipes. It's only $5 a month for you to be able to join and get that live soap club class, okay? All right, so we're going to be doing much more than soap, of course. We're going to beat up. We're going to do embed. We're going to do hot process soap, laundry soap, dish soap, you name it. Every month we coming together and we're doing something spectacular. So you definitely don't want to miss it. Go ahead and join. Also, guys, if you need to do one-on-one coaching with me, look, that's in the description box as well. Don't delay. All right, let's talk about what we're doing today. So today we're doing an ice cream style Neapolitan type soap, but we're going to make it Valentine's Day-ish. So we're going to put the strawberries and chocolate on there. We're going to use like a strawberry pound cake fragrance, which is actually like sold out, but I could give you other suppliers. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm pretty much mixing my soap base together. Listen, y'all, I want to tell y'all something. Olive oil is high in these streets, man. I'm really doing my recipes and using very little to no olive oil. So this right here, this recipe is a no olive oil movement, okay? So I'm going to tell you guys everything I use as far as the ounces are concerned. This recipe is completely free. Listen, this video right here is the first video of every free soap recipe. So if you have not followed my channel, you need to follow today because listen, you're going to get free on this channel when it comes down to soap. Everything is going to be free for 2025, all right? All right, so we got 7 ounces of apricot kernel oil, 25 ounces of canola oil, 2 ounces of castor oil, 7 ounces of palm or vegetable shortening, 10 ounces of coconut oil, 3 ounces of shea butter, 7.8 ounces of lye, 17.45 ounces of distilled water. That is our recipe right there. Now you could definitely swap out some of these oils, like for the apricot kernel oil, you could use another oil. For the most part, this is a very hard recipe. So, not hard to where it would crack, but it's definitely hard. All right. So the only thing I was doing was mixing up just a little bit, bringing it to a light trace. Because once I put my colors in it, I'm going to have to bring it to a heavier trace. So bringing it to a light trace. And now I'm just separating it so that I can mix 3 colors, actually 2 colors. So look, y'all, if y'all join the Patreon, I'm giving you guys a vendors list where you can get all of your soap supplies. I'm working on that list right now, so it should be done by tonight. All right, so I added some brown to this. Now, this is a very dark brown. I'm going to definitely leave that in the Patreon. So that's what you're going to get, guys. You're going to get all the mica colors and stuff like that printed out on the Patreon because honestly, I don't even know what I use. I got to go back and look up everything, and I'm doing this video without even being around anything that got to do with soap. So if you're in the Patreon, I'm going to make sure I had it in PDF, but I did put the recipe on it. So if you want to use your own colors and fragrances and stuff like that, feel free to do that. So mixing up this brown, listen, the true brown came when I used that strawberry fragrance because the strawberry fragrance had about 7.6% vanillin in it. And so anything that's vanillin will change the color of the soap. Therefore, I only colored the bottom of the soap. I did not color the whole entire bar. So I'm just adding a little bit more just to be on the safe side, just to make sure that I had enough to make those 3 layers, okay? Because sometimes you could think you have enough and you don't. So I just wanted to make sure. So I'm just mixing this in, and then I'm going to grab my fragrance. And so for this particular recipe, I think I used about 3 ounces of fragrance. You could use a little bit more, but I used about 3 ounces because I was only putting it in that bottom row into this brown right here. And I didn't want to just overdo it and, have a problem. So 3 ounces is what I used. Now, fragrance sometimes will speed up the batch of soap, okay? Fragrance can change everything. Fragrance can get this soap ricing. It could just really go crazy. But this particular fragrance was well behaved. I really like it. I am going to tell you guys the best place for fragrance is, in fact, Nature's Garden, Wholesale Supplies Plus, and Nurture Soap. They will tell you how it will behave. I don't have time to figure out once I buy the fragrance how it's going to behave. I'd rather just know off the rip, So those are the only places that I really buy. Now, I will buy it from like other companies if I see a review where somebody say, this soap behave well. Like Candle Science, like it has to say it in the reviews for me. If it doesn't say it in the reviews, I won't get it because I just don't want to figure it out. Now, I don't have my clothespins for my mold, but I did find like a little thingamajigger, a clip to use. So I'm going to use that clip in just a few. The first thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and pour that first layer, because once I poured that fragrance in there, I didn't want it to set up too fast and get too thick. Oops. Oh man. Well, I had to show you guys the bloopers too. All right. Now, when I started putting this fragrance in there, y'all, this fragrance turned the bottom of the soap this turtle green color. And I was like, you know what? The Bible say have faith in God. Okay. So I had to have faith in God that this dookie turtle green would turn back brown when that vanillin / air kick in. And I'm talking about God really had my back, because I thought I was going to have to cancel soap. One thing I don't like to do is to, post a picture of the soap before I finish on my Patreon, because I don't know what can happen in between that time. And I'm gonna tell you guys what happened. So I was in my prayer closet with this soap. Not really in the closet, but I was like, Lord, you gonna have to help me. So when I got finished with the soap, y'all, it started heating up really, really quick. And it started cracking in the middle. And I was like, no, this is a beautiful soap. I don't want it to crack. No cracking, no cracking. Now, mind you, I left that lye sitting out for a whole day. It was sitting out for a whole day. The oil set out for a whole day. So it was like, it wasn't hot at all. I just heated the oils up slightly just so they could be able to move freely and not be like, thick, super thick, but thin. And that was it. Okay. So right here, y'all, I wanted to tell y'all why I'm still talking. I'm mixing some red and pink mica. I just used a little tap of the red, and the rest of it is the pink. Okay. It's like a hot pink. And I believe it's from Brambleberry. It's called Hot Pink. But yeah, I'm mixing that together. And just so I can get that nice Neapolitan look. It really did come out pretty. You'll see in the end. Back to my testimony. All right. So I ended up taking this soap, and I was like, Lord, what to do? I just hit my spirit. Just put it in the freezer. And, the Bible say God will be a very present help in a time of trouble. And that trouble don't mean like I got to be going through a real storm, physical situation, spiritual, whatever. Sometimes it's just simple as, Lord, what am I going to eat? And so he was very present. And I really put that soap in the freezer, and I left it in there, and I was like, okay, God, should I leave it in there all night? And I felt in my spirit, and I heard him say, no, you can take it out. It just needed to cool down. So that's what I did. So I stopped the gel phase. If it was going to have a gel phase, if it was going to have a freezing phase, I stopped all of that. You know what I'm saying? By just putting it in there for an hour. Use a spatula to keep the colors from mixing together, and also let it be a slightly thick trace, not too thick to where as though you gotta like plop it in there, but thick enough to where as though it won't fall into the other layer. Now listen, the bottom layer did set up pretty quick, so it wouldn't have mixed anyway, but I did this just so you guys can see it. All right, so now when it came down to this whole floppy soap mold, guys, I got like some soap molds that I had for years, and I got them from this place in Ohio, but I did discover Nurture Soap has some pretty good 5-pound molds. If you're just starting out, Wholesale Supplies Plus has a percentage calculator where you can put the recipe in and it will convert it over to percentages. You can take those percentages and reduce the amount of soap that you're making. So I'm making 5 pounds, you can make 2 pounds. You know what I'm saying? So you can do it that way as well, because I don't have my recipe in percentages. And I might put it in percentages on the Patreon. I'm going to put it in percentages on the Patreon. But I gave you guys the free recipe here. So you want to make it out of a 5-pound mold, I gave you guys everything you need. It's in my heart this year to bless you people. Yeah, just bless my YouTube family. So that's what we're going to do. All right, so now that I have my first layer poured, second layer poured, we're going to do the top. Now, I did mess up. So here's what I messed up with. I ended up doing the top layer very thin because I was not thinking about it. And I didn't really trace it to a pudding consistency. And that's where I messed up at. So I had to I wait a long time for it to set up. And even after it set up and got a little thick, it wasn't thick enough to hold the shapes that I was making. So I ended up having to come back, take all my chocolate bars out and redo it in the end. And it came out pretty. But I had to do that off camera. So I just wanted to tell you guys. So I did do something off camera, and that, so don't do it the way I did it. All right. So you guys can see right there, I have my strawberries and my chocolate just sitting out, and the chocolate just look like dark chocolate. It is so realistic. I use a red mica. I'm going to put that in the Patreon. I use the red mica. Because listen, y'all, it's not that I'm trying to withhold the information from y'all. These people not endorsing me. You know what I'm saying? They haven't given me any money, and hopefully they will. You know what I'm saying? I believe God. Look, we believe in 2025 is your year of favor, your year of prosperity, your year of blessings, breakthroughs. I prophesy that over you. I'm believing for that. But until then, I really can't just mention company names and stuff like that. So I'm gonna put that in the Patreon for y'all. If you're a member, if you're not a member, like I said, y'all need to get in there, because look, we doing our soap club next month, and so we're gonna come together. We're gonna make laundry soap. We're gonna vote on it, what kind of soap we want to make. We're gonna make some melt and pour soap. Y'all need to get in there. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pour this layer, and I told y'all it was too thin. But you know what I'm saying? I had to come back and fix it later on. I just let it set up probably for 30 to 45 minutes. It took that long to thicken up. I think about 30 minutes. Yeah. Again, keep that spatula going. I didn't use any titanium dioxide, anything like that, because I didn't have any fragrance in it. So I didn't expect it to change any color. It won't change colors. So, I just basically just kept it the natural color, and it's actually good. But if you want to brighten it up just a little bit, you can use a tablespoon or actually a teaspoon. I would say a teaspoon because you don't want it to be too gritty. A teaspoon of titanium dioxide, mix it together with some oil, and then pour it into your soap batter and go from there. Now, as you guys can see, look, it was too thin. I couldn't really do nothing. It was just taking that spatula and rubbing it on air. So I had to wait, and it got a little bit thicker, but not thick enough. So I'm going to skip past this because I honestly didn't get this done on camera. And we're just going to put the strawberries and the chocolate on there, and you will see the finished product. All right, so now I'm putting my strawberries on here. Now, the strawberries came out the perfect color. I can't complain. Usually they come out pink, but I decided to mix a little pink and red, but more red than pink. And I love it. Guys, you want to make sure that you purchase some low or no sweat melt and pour if you want to do melt and pour embeds. That is my advice. Just to keep the embeds from sweating, because they do sweat. So I ran into another problem during this whole entire process. I realized that I needed a cheese cutter, because if I use my regular soap cutter, it will slice into these strawberries. I can't quite figure out how to get it to where as though I could use my regular slicer and know where it's, I think it's an inch. My bars are an inch wide. I don't even know. But if you guys know, leave that down in the comment section so I can learn from you all. But I'm going to just get another soap cutter, and that's going to be the single slicing soap cutter. So you guys will see that pretty soon. I done spent a lot on soap equipment. I got the loaf cutter, and I think I paid $300 for that. The other soap cutter, I don't want to buy another cutter, but I'm going to buy it just so that I can cut my bars the right way, because I had to actually manually just hand cut them, and I don't like that because you mess them up like that. So this particular batch I'm going to just give away to family, but my next batch I'm going to make for Valentine's Day. That will be up on my website. Guys, my website is live. If you want to support me, with these free soap videos. You could buy it on there. This is our finished product. They came out so pretty.